Hello everybody, Keith here again. I'm going to do a repot now, not one that is because it's overdue, quite the opposite, it's because I've underpotted it. This is it's my only species, Zygopetalum. This is Zygopetalum crinitum. Not managed to flower it yet. And it was only done in July 23 and it's only October 23, so this is basically a warning to anybody not to underpot. Of course the other problem is then the risk is overpotting and you just get everything waterlogged, and I've just quite literally thrown away what used to be a really nice oncidium because I'd not repotted it fast enough. The roots had all gone, it was wet in the bottom, and the whole lot's gone. Even though there were new growths on it, the old pseudobulbs were completely gone, and there were no sign of roots on the new bits, so in the bin it went. So this one, I hope, because it's not been potted in here very long, I'm going to be able to do it. So why am I repotting it now? Well, it suffered while I was in hospital. One of those things that zygos like to be on the moist side, and I don't think it probably got enough water. It dumped its leaves, but the pseudobulbs are still nice and firm and smooth, so there's something going on underneath. But then the other day I noticed that, and I thought, oh hello, that's looking a bit close to the edge. Then I turned it round this way and I saw that, and I think that that's going to turn out to be a new growth that couldn't go anywhere, so I'm going to try and get that out while it's salvageable. It's going to have to go into a much bigger pot to try and give it the room to grow, but it is quite vigorous and puts lots of roots out, so fingers crossed I shan't have too much trouble with this one being wet at the bottom. So yeah, there we are. We've got new growths, we've got new roots, and as I say, it was only done in July this year. So yeah, there's some fairly manky roots on the end of here. Exactly what you'd expect really. But I'll tell you what's remarkable, I know these things like to be damp, and it looks like I put some moss in with the bark. Seems to like that, so I have to bear that in mind when I pot it up again. But we've got a lot of good roots down towards the bottom of the pot, so I think it might be worth getting rid of the manky roots in the middle, if I can find them. I'm not going to get too heavy-handed with it, I'm not sure there's any great need. And yeah, there's some fairly horrible roots in here, but there's a lot of good ones. So I'm not going to get too daft with it. I'm not going to try and get all this bark out, because that's new bark. I'm not going to reuse it. I'm not going to reuse that at all. Probably always a good idea. That pot has got some algae on it already. You know, this is actually doing a lot better than I thought it was. Can you see there's actually 2 new growths here? There's one there and there's one there. And I'm saying that is definitely a new growth. So if I can get that somewhere near the surface, hopefully it'll find its way up. Can't see anything off anywhere else yet, but I say with all these roots, and I'm not going to get too daft with it. If the bark will come off, that's fine, but it's fairly new. So some more bark in that. I need to get it so that it's going to crock properly, I think. So, you know, we'll have some plain bark in the bottom. And then I'll try to mix some a little bit of moss in with it. It's certainly going to want something to help it. The last thing I want is to end up with all this lot waterlogged. It's too easy to do. Bit of perlite perhaps, some moss, where's me moss gone? Okay. So I'll mix it in this jug. Don't want vast amounts of moss in there. If what I'm trying to do is avoid getting the thing to be I'm going to leave the perlite at that. I've got a horrible tendency of putting far too much perlite in there, and I think if I put a couple of handfuls of this stuff in here, so that's pretty much, I was roughly about 3 bark to 1 of perlite and 1 of moss. I don't usually moisten stuff before I use it, but I think this is rather dry. So just for once I'm going to moisten everything. Try and rinse the dust through. And I'll just put a little bit of rainwater in the bottom of that jug, and that will help, I think. So that's got to sit, I think, quite high up in the pot. Looks like I'm going to need just a little bit more bark. Not quite enough in there. Just put a bit of extra in to make sure it's well tied in. I don't want it too high up, but with these new growths forming, I don't want to bury them a long way deep and have the same problems all over. I want that to turn its way round, and this one I want to keep those two moving. I'd love to get this thing to flower, but I got it as a small plant from Burnham's, and a seedling Arthur told me at the time, and it's the usual thing, oh, it's 2 years from flowering. Well, yes, possibly, but the water over this new stuff. Obviously draining quite well, but let's hope that will kick off now. Because it has been growing really well. So, very quick one. Zygopetalum crinitum, which has been repotted on the 28th of October, previously only done on the 4th of July. So it just proves that if you've got a plant that does decide it's going to grow, and this is always quite vigorous, you can't always anticipate its needs, but be on top of it, otherwise you'll end up causing yourself a lot of grief. So, Zygopetalum crinitum, quick and dirty repot, and I'll look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.